support the new initiative in Europe 嘅意思係董事局一致投票支持向歐洲擴展嘅機遇。Unanimously 代表一致嘅意思。而 Hillary 講 This plan comes to fruition 嘅意思係計劃已經到咗成熟嘅階段。好啦 ，Hillary 其實想 Queenie 到英國做乜嘢呢？大家記唔記得呢？第一係揾一個當地嘅分銷商協助發展生意 ，going to collaborate with a local distributor in London to expand our business。第二係喺倫敦幫手做協調同埋聯絡嘅工作 ，to help coordinate things in London。第三係聘請當地嘅人 ，hire some locals。要留意 local 嘅要加 s。
Good evening. Welcome to Hong Kong U Space. I'm the program manager, Dr. Amos Yung, of the in the College of Humanity and Law of Hong Kong U Space. Welcome everyone. As far as I know, we have around 250 registered participants, with around 220 of them will attend online. So I would like to welcome everyone. For today's talk, we are talking about the generative AIs. I don't know how much you know about generative AI, but I think you all understand the most famous term, the ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one of the generative AI robots designed by OpenAI, which is now a subsidiary of Microsoft Corporation. Beside that, actually, we have more generative AI robots beside that, and I'm going to talk about it later. Before I start this talk, I want to share a Chinese wisdom words with you that I always keep it in my mind. It is the key to knowledge is your attitude. Indeed, the whole sentence, we have two sentences, which is a Chinese couplet. The first part is the key to knowledge is your attitude. The key to sophistication is your experience, which is very important for any learners to understand. Why I want to talk about these two things first, more or less you will know later. So today's agenda, I will talk about a few things. First of all, how generative AI learn. The second part is the do and don'ts when we are trying to learn English with generative AI. And now we will go into and then we will go to the more important part. Can generative AI replace my job? And I will talk about the professional and business English program of Hong Kong U Space. And then we will have the Q&A section. I put some logos here, and I think you all know, or you know some of the logos. First of all, we have the ChatGPT, which is created by OpenAI, and then under OpenAI, there's also a DALL-E second. For Google, they have a brand, and also Google DeepMind. And Midjourney is a AI software that they can generate pictures based on your text prompt. And in China, we have the Baidu ErnieBot, which is also a generative AI robot. And for generative AI, actually, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And what exactly it is, I will go through GPT later. But first of all, I want to talk about 3 generations of generative AI. The first generation is rule-based system. Actually, I play around this kind of things around 30 years ago when I was working with those machine language programming. And it is very simple to understand what exactly is rule-based system. It's just like if someone type in the input, say, orange fat cat, then the computer will automatically prompt cafe to the screen. But after that, because it's very limited choice, and probably for all of you, you experience that with those telephone automatic answering system. So rule-based system started eliminated and replaced it by statistical machine learning method. And what exactly is statistical machine learning is about the percentage of occurrence that something will appear. For example, if the input is orange fat cat, then 80% of the occurrence refers to Garfield, and 20% refer to a cat. So in a statistical machine learning system, they will output Garfield. So now we go to the most difficult part, because this is what generative AI learn, is the deep learning. Actually, deep learning, we will use neural network. When we listen to this term neural network, actually it's just a simulation of our human brain. For our human brain, we have cells, we also have neurons. And actually how we learn is to fossilize the connection between certain neurons to create a neuron map. This is exactly how human scientists will replicate our brain and ask computer to learn how we learn all knowledges. So at here, they have a lot of layers. Even that we have 4 input layers. For example, here, hardworking orange fat cat. It will go through different statistical machine learning process with many, many different layers, and also they are created for different purposes. For example, in here, this one, it will go through the semantic analysis first. That cat as a noun returned to around 400,000 entries, which is a make-up numbers, and fat with cat returns 380,000 entries, and so and so. So when we look at this sentence at the end, hardworking orange fat cats, actually it returns 0 entry, because we all know that Garfield is not a hardworking cat. So it returns 0 entries. So the AI system will output something called cannot identify hardworking orange fat cat through their NLP's processor. Okay, so this is how generative AI learn. And this is a very important concept to lay the all content I'm going to talk about. This map is actually I copied from Tencent. Actually, they are developing their board now, but Ernie is created by Baidu, which is a Chinese company. And we all know that Baidu is also a Chinese searching company like Google. But here, actually, you can see the basic level is large-scale text data, and also a knowledge graph. And then through different process, different deep learning process, we create the meaning and understand how things occur with a lot of different statistical algorithms. But I summarize it into 5 different basic steps. First of all, they need the data set. And normally this data set, we have Wikipedia, encyclopedia, even the whole internet. So you can ask ChatGPT or other generative AI for any information that already existed on the internet. But if it is something not on the internet, they don't know. After they have those text files, they need an NLP, natural language processing process, to convert it into a computer processable knowledge map in 0 and 1, 0 and 1, and also with those statistical procedure. For example, they will have some NLP, for example, they will tag those part of speech of those sentences to understand which one is noun, which one is adjective, so they know the content of each word in a sentence. After that, they will process the data, index them in parallel method, just we saw in the previous slides, and then they interpreting and verifying with those special algorithm. For example, one here is semantic analysis. They extract opinions, and also extract the relationship and also semantic similarity. And finally, they created that huge knowledge map that the AI knows. But actually, this process, we always make fun with it. Actually, the data scientists, they don't know how to read this map. Only AI know. It's just like human being, even that we know, we have medical science for many, many years. Actually, we don't know how our brains work. We think we know, but indeed no one can understand because we cannot read it. So this is the basic concept of AI, and all their knowledge based on the existing knowledge. And also they need the large-scale text data. So what does generative AI know? First of all, the provided machine learning algorithm, and the second one is the natural language processes large-scale data. Also the existing indexed knowledge in machine-readable formats, and also some indexed knowledge, and of course there will be junk in machine-readable formats. So what are the limitations? First of all, if the data they read has biases, then actually they will inherit into the large-scale data. So the AI will have bias. And the other one is sometimes they will read some outdated human language expression. For example, right now the young people, they use certain expression to talk about some something that they know. Actually, those things will not be recorded on the internet, so AI won't understand what exactly it is. And of course, one of the things is the outdated and biased knowledge repository. In social science, we talk about Eurocentrism. Actually, Eurocentrism, the meaning is that the whole internet or whole libraries, they are talking about some knowledge created by the Western people. So they imposed their Western perspective on all other knowledge they understand. So when they print a lot of books, when they put a lot of data and information on Wikipedia, for example, the English Wikipedia, for those people who are capable to write and contribute to Wikipedia, more or less they know English, and more or less they trained by some people inherited from the Western perspective. So that is something for social scientists. We are very cautious about all these kind of things. And the last thing is whether it's a knowledge or it's a junk, because AI cannot distinguish it. Only human being can distinguish it. But all these kind of things created the AI knowledge about this world. So what should we do when we are trying to use AI to learn English? First of all, if we are trying to navigate some established knowledge, it means the existing knowledge, AI will help you because their knowledge was built on the internet data and Wikipedia and encyclopedia. If you want AI to suggest some alternative writing style, AI will help you because they have the NLP and also other kind of other algorithm to help them to answer your questions. If you want generative AI to correct grammatical mistake, yes, they will help you. And also, if you want a generative AI to talk about the discourse structure of a text, for example, whether you are writing, whether the reader can understand what you wrote, actually you can use AI to generate a discourse structure, so you know whether it is exactly what you intended to write. So when you're trying to formulate questions for AI, remember, first of all, you need to craft your language into something close to native level of English. So you need to ask the right question. Otherwise, you have garbage in and garbage out. And you also need to ask an open-end question. Let AI to decide what to answer you, because you're not restricting it for a particular answer you want. You want the AI to search over its knowledge and also try to provide you a suggestion. And you always need to ask follow-up questions and always ask clarifying questions. If you don't understand certain vocabulary in AI's reply, you can actually ask them to clarify and provide you with more information, just like elaborating. So if you want general advice on your writing, AI is a good tool. And if you want to advise, if you want generative AI's advice on some published content, AI will help you. If you want AI to paraphrase the text for you, they will help you. If you want AI to generate some material for language training purpose, they will also help you. And more importantly, if you want to have some generic specific text sample for references, AI will help you, because all these kind of things already existed on the internet, and AI read them all. So I asked the chatbot, which actually Hong Kong U-Space has a chatbot. I asked chatbot, do you think non-native English speaker needs to attend English classes? Even there's a generative AI ChatGPT. And here is what Hong Kong U-Space chatbot answered. And now I used the IBM Watson text-to-speech voice, which is also an AI tool, to synthesize this text into speech. And I'm now going to play it.
As an AI language model, I believe that attending English classes can still be beneficial for non-native speakers, even with the existence of generative AI chat. While AI language models can provide assistance in learning and practicing English, attending classes provides a more structured and personalized approach to language learning. In classes, non-native speakers can have access to an experienced teacher who can identify their strengths and weaknesses, create personalized lessons that cater to their needs, and provide immediate feedback and correction. Classes also allow for interaction with other learners, which can help in developing communication skills, gaining different perspectives, and building confidence in using the language. As an AI. Moreover, English classes offer cultural immersion and exposure to the nuances of the language that cannot be replicated by an AI language model. Language learning goes beyond just the rules of grammar and syntax, but also involves understanding cultural norms, idioms, and colloquialisms that are unique to specific regions, and this can only be learned through comprehensive language instruction. Overall, while AI language models such as generative AI chat can be useful tools for language learners, attending classes with an experienced teacher provides a more holistic and personalized approach to language learning that yields better results.
Okay, so I think we all agree actually her pronunciation is quite okay. Okay, so now I will go to the second part.
Moreover, English.
The don'ts. Actually, this is a very funny picture. Someone asked the AI engine to create a salmon swimming down a river, and that's actually what AI gave them. So it looks funny, so I put it here. So if you want to use ChatGPT or other generative AI tools to master language, English language, first of all, remember if some contents is related to could lead to some legal consequences, avoid it. Always found a professional, because to be honest, AI is just a writer. They don't care. So if you have some confidential information, for example, if your company have something that you cannot disclose to other people, remember, don't use generative AI tools, because they will record all your submitted information on their server for further training. So it means that your confidential information is not confidential anymore. Eurocentrism, I explained it before. And if you want to study the iconic discourse aimed to build relationship, what I mean is that, for example, you are building a relationship with customer, so you write and chat and communicate with customer with a lot of emails. Actually, for generative AI, because you know the large scale database, actually they don't have those diachronic discussions. So generative AI do not know. But for this point, I have some reservation, because as far as I know, some online email provider, they will use AI to read all your emails for the good sake to protect your information. So I don't know how it will go, but this is something we need to focus on and be careful. If you want to have some decision just suggested by generative AI based on the latest information, avoid it, because, for example, ChatGPT 3.5, the training data goes back to 2021. So if we want to talk about 2022, then generative AI, they don't know. So if you want to know local knowledge, for example, if I want to know how Hong Kong Youth Base perform, or which restaurant is good in Central, go for some review website instead of asking ChatGPT. Remember, avoid asking incomplete sentence. And of course, if your teacher asks you not to use ChatGPT, don't use it. And further, I want to remind you, if you want one-on-one coaching, it means that, for example, if you want pronunciation training, always I will avoid generative AI, because I will show you in the next slide and you will know why. If you want social interaction training, it means that, for example, if you want to talk to a stranger on the street, avoid generative AI. It won't help you. If you want professional and technical training, find a human teacher and trainer. And if you want culturally specific language training, always look for a human, the locals. And also, if you want to learn languages other than English, go for the Hong Kong use go to Hong Kong use space, okay? Because the large-scale database actually they index all the English text, not other languages. So that's why if you want to learn other languages, go to school. Also, two very important points. If you want to learn real good English, always go to a language school. And very important, if you are going to use ChatGPT in the long term, remember the factual information will not be factual anymore. When I research on Wikipedia's writings, actually we are talking about sometimes people, for example, those newspaper, those reporters, they will look for news on Wikipedia. And then they will write that news, and those contributors to Wikipedia will copy that news and put it back to Wikipedia. So if there is any incorrect information in that loop, at the end it will be wrong, and the whole factual things will be wrong. So we should always find more information and do some what we call fact check. Okay? So I think we all agree one thing. Actually, the synthesized AI voice, the pronunciation is good. But now I want to show you my analysis. The upper part is a synthesized map of IBM Watson, and I also invited my friend, Professor Benedict Watson. So we have two Watsons here. One is AI Watson, and the other one is real Watson. And I'm going to play their voice, and you will compare and understand the differences here.
Different perspectives and building confidence in using the language.
Okay, this is the IBM Watson.
Gaining different perspectives and building confidence in using the language.
Okay, so do you want me to play it again? Okay.
Different perspectives and building confidence in using the language.
Gaining different perspectives and building confidence in using the language.
Okay. Now, as a learner, it is not very easy to read or listen to those differences. So I put it in two spectrograms. Here, the upper one is the IBM Watson. And if you look at here, you'll find the pitch. Actually, this blue line is the pitch of each word, those articulated sound. So you can see here, the IBM Watson one gain actually is going up, and then different is going down, but perspective is also up and down. But here is the strange part. If you look at here, and building confidence in using the language, okay, so that's what IBM Watson pronounced. But if we look at the real Watson, gaining different perspectives and building the confidence in using the language, actually it's just going down without any spike here. So that's the difference of AI and human trainers. How native people pronounce, whether the AI can replicate it, that's the differences. So I hope I put this into two spectrograms for you to easier to read and look at the differences between an AI and also a human.
Different perspective.
So the most important part in this talk is, can a generative AI replace my job? I think most of the people, well, we are quite worrying about this. Indeed, from my perspective, I would say AI is very difficult to replace our job if we are doing what we should do. For example, if as a businessman, they will communicate and discuss and build relationship with their customer. And therefore, we talk about professional communication in that sense. So professional communication is a concept about how professionals, they discuss and exchange their idea through their communication in email or messages or even face-to-face chats in a workplace content to serve the goal of an organization and institution. Those workplaces, I put some example here, for example, charitable organizations, bank, and government, academia, restaurant, and so and so. And for professional communication, they are unique at discipline and discipline specific. And to deliver complex information in a very specific format. The aim for professional communication is to build relationship with stakeholders, and also they are always ahead of knowledge repository updates. The knowledge repository here, I refer to, for example, encyclopedia, the internet, and also the encyclopedias and Wikipedias. So for generative AI, because, as I explained it to you earlier, they require a huge size text data for deep learning process. And therefore, for something like professional communication, more or less is office talk or emails, actually the corpus size is small. So with those smaller samples, actually generative AI cannot form their rules to synthesize and also simulate how actual humans communicate. I would like to give you some concepts, a basic concept about how large we are talking about. For generative AI ChatGPT 3.5, they need 45 terabytes of data. So I have a USB flash disk here, is 16 gigabytes. It means that we need 2,800 USB flash disks to train GPT 3.5. And even for the latest version, GPT-4, they need 1 petabyte of data. It means 1,000 terabytes. So it's a huge data to train AI, to make them so smart. And even the Wikipedia, if we count Wikipedia as a knowledge repository to store all information on the internet, all human knowledge, actually is just 21.23 gigabytes. It means if I have a 32 gigabyte USB flash disk, then that's all. I can keep the whole Wikipedia in my pocket. So when we are talking about limited number of professional communication corpora, actually we cannot use them to train AI to simulate how human professional communicate. So that's why when you are trying to use AI to learn languages, especially the professional communication, more or less you should find more generic data and also more data source, or even go to a human trainers to help you to master professional communication. One of the resources I put it here is RCPC profession specific corpora, which I actually built in my previous 6 years, or their search engine, and also their corpora. And those are generic data I collected from many workplaces and also many company reports. And they have spoken corpus and so and so. You can also look at those information if you want to learn how real humans communicate. And also, because of the size of the corpus, professional communication corpus, and also we lack of diachronic corpus. For example, we don't keep companies' email and submit them to generative AI for pre-training. They are robots. Therefore, if we are talking about professional communication to build relationship with your customer, actually AI can't help you. So I want to summarize what I talked about today. I think we all heard about Mars, and we also read a lot about Mars in those movies or storybooks, and even in the myth. But somehow we never know what exactly how Mars looks. Not until we are there, not until our robots arrive on the surface of Mars. So that is also the same things what generative AI is about their ability to master professional communication, because they read a lot of text on the internet. They read a lot of information about those images, movies, and all of these things, but somehow actually they don't know anything about human beings. So they are trying to replicate it, replicating our language and produce them in our in their reply. So remember, when we are talking about learning or trying to use ChatGPT or other generative AI tools for learning English or other languages, well, they will give you some generic samples, but if you really want to go deep into that training, you should find an English school. So can generative AI replace my job? Well, definitely, because the generative AI will improve. And also we will share a lot of information on the internet. For example, the young people, they will use Twitter, they will use TikTok. They upload all their generic human language, the real language, the natural language on the internet. So the AI will learn from us. But whether they will replace our job, to be honest, I would say no. They will replace some job that is not about relationship building. For example, if we are talking about for example, a cleaner on the street, the AI can drive a robot car and drive those machines to clean the street. They know, because those are repetitive behavior. But if we are talking about business communication, when we are trying to develop a relationship with our partner or other stakeholders, well, AI can't replace you. So if you are talking about whether we should develop our skills, I will always say communication is a key part in building relationship. So I will say it depends on you, because if you are developing your communication skills, you are more or less safe. It's very difficult to replace you. So that is the part about generative AI. And I want to close it with this one. So why I put the Chinese couplets here is because I always think that your experience matter. Experience is not about how good you are doing something, but somehow it's about how good you tell people you are good in doing something. That is a key point in all kind of interactions and human activities. Because we are human, we are socialized, we are social animals, and we always talk and interact with other people. So you are the most important part in formulating these AI generations. So I want to go to the next part of my talk, because actually we are the English subject teams at Hong Kong U Space. Actually, we also offer professional and business English training. We have 4 different tiers, but right now we offer 3 tiers of courses. First of all, the tier 1 is a certificate in business English usage. The second tier is certificate in advanced business English, and the third tier is diploma in professional communication. And we haven't offered a tier 4 yet. So why we need to study certificate in business English usage? First of all, business English usage program aims to help students become more accurate and fluent when communicating in English in the modern workplace. The course will help you to communicate with native and non-native speakers of English in common business settings, and gaining greater confidence and a better command of business English grammar, vocabulary, receptive and productive skills. Receptive skills refers to reading and listening. Productive skills refer to writing and speaking. The course is also aimed to further develop a higher level of business English proficiency. So we have certain learning outcomes. First of all, after you completed the program, you should be able to apply essential business grammar rules in speaking and writing. You can use appropriate business vocabulary and standard phrases in communication in the modern workplace. You can utilize reading, listening, and simple writing skills in different scenario-based tasks. And also you can present basic details of products and businesses using appropriate language, and write brief business correspondent and short survey report. So these are those course details. Actually, our next course start day is June 16. The venue is in Causeway Bay, Hong Kong U and Poland Cook's Stanley Ho Community College campus. The duration is 30 meetings and 3 hours per meetings. The second tier is the certificate in advanced business English. The course helps working professionals communicate accurately and effectively in spoken and written English in various business contexts. You will become a more fluent and articulate when communicating in English. You will produce well-written texts that characterize professionalism and effectiveness in modern business communication. You will also demonstrate competent oral communication skills in various business contexts. Your learning outcome upon completion of this course, you should be able to write well-structured business document for internal and external communication. You will speak fluently and clearly at presentations, business meetings, and conferences, online and in person. You can edit and revise correspondence for effective workplace communication via different channels. And you will present ideas coherently for persuasive and impactful communication. So the course will start in June 21st in the Island East campus, which is in North Pond. The whole course will last 12 months with 2 modules. The first module is advanced business writing, and the second one is advanced business speaking, with a total of 90 hours of course. And of course, I want to remind all of us, actually these 2 courses, they have CEF funding. You can reimburse the course, reimburse the fees from CEF. And the third tier is Diploma in Professional Communication. The diploma program aims to equip students with the professional communication skills and English proficiency to excel in both general business context and specific industry. Practicality of professional communication in real-life work, and also you will gain a higher qualification at university and prospect of career advancement. And the more importantly, we will invite industrial experts to talk and also give talks in this course, and also sometimes we will ask them to teach too. So we are not only talking about the language, but more or less we are talking about the knowledge in English, of course. So the learning outcome upon successful completion of the program, you should be able to apply effective writing and speaking skills to different contexts and roles in international businesses. Use relevant business concepts in industry knowledge, analytical and problem-solving skills to develop and communicate professional solutions in business administration and financial services. You will be able to utilize conventional methods and digital tools of communications in business administration and financial services, and apply professional knowledge and practical techniques to cultivate and manage successful relationships with clients and key stakeholders in the financial services industry. So why we always emphasize on financial services? Because in the original design, we have different professional specific diploma. The first one we offer is financial services. Later on, we will talk about business administration and marketing, something like that. But right now, we're offering financial services diploma. There are 4 modules in this diploma course. First of all, the module 1 is Business English for Professional. Module 2 is Professional Communication in Business Administration. And for the module 3, which is a little bit departed from language itself, but more or less we're talking about the communication side in financial services. And the module 4 is Financial Communication and Relationship Management. So before well, the next course will start in June, and we intended to use the Causeway Bay Stanley Ho campus to deliver this course. So it's a quite convenient space. The course will last for 24 months, 60 meetings, 3 hours per meeting, so it's 180 hours of instructions. The mode could be face-to-face and even flexible learning. But I want to emphasize one thing. Actually, you might wonder, well, this course is about financial services. Well, so how could it help me if I'm not in financial services, or you have no idea, or you're not intended to work in financial services? Well, but from my experience, actually, I was working in the business, in the business world for 16 years, in the import and export. I would say somehow we need to learn those methodologies, those terminologies, because in daily business we need to deal with banks, we need to deal with other financial institutions, even we need to negotiate those terms with our customers. We want to know more about different terminology. And to be honest, studying a financial service diploma, professional communication diploma, could be a way for you to learn those vocabulary. So that is why I also recommend people to study this course, even that the titles could be sometimes could be something more specific to financial services, but indeed, more or less, is about the knowledge, the language used in financial services, how you are trying to build relationship with your customer, your stakeholders, through this course. Beside the course we offer, actually we also have lingual skill tests, which is a very useful test for checking your English proficiency level. It's a computer test. You can come to our center in Fortress Hill to attend this test. You will do the test on the computer, and the report will the results will be out in 48 hours. So you have a report, and you will have a detailed analysis, or the AI system will give you a score on the 4 skills: listening, writing, reading, and also speaking. So you have an idea about your language. We have 2 different lingual skills. One is a general one, the other one is a business one. So if you want to test your business skills, or your business skills in English, you can take our lingual skill business. If you want to test lingual skill general, then you can come to our campus and talk to us, and you can register a test. And why this test report is useful? Because somehow, if you are looking for a new job, no one knows whether you are very good in English. But this kind of test report can help you, and it's not cost you an arm or a leg. So thank you for attending this talk, and I want to emphasize actually AI is a part of our life now, but it is something, well, something we created them, we modeled them, and we provide data to train them. So if we are talking about some data, that is not what AI know, what the internet already have. Actually, we are more sophisticated than AI. For example, if we are talking about Asia context, for example, if we want to discuss or talk to a Japanese customer, we more or less will speak in English. So that is something AI can't help you. So that is my conclusion. And of course, I also want to remind everyone that Hong Kong Youth Space, we have summer course program. We have summer course program for the teenagers. For example, we have gear ups for IELTS, learning English through current affairs, and also English for studying overseas. And for some professional, for example, for teachers, we also have British English elocution for teachers. Those are summer course program, and I hope you will enjoy. So if you have any questions, you are free to ask.
May I know the lingual skills? Is this only to do it in Fortune Center regarding to the lingo skill. Could we do it in online or just need to visit to the center to do those kind of exercise? Thank you.
We will ask you to come to Fortress Hill because we must ensure it is you to do the test. If I know in some other tests they have online tests, but somehow they also have very strict requirement. For example, they want you to put a mobile phone next to you, so they will know it is you. But now I think you all know that they are face swap AI. So indeed, who knows? And also you need to submit all other information to the test center for you to do those online tests at home. So I will say we will invite you to Fortress Hill, and I think it's very convenient. I think it's just 2 minutes away from the MTR station exit.
How long will it take?
Around 2 hours, I think. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Is there any questions online? Okay. Sure.
If I view the lingo skill, so after the test, the result does respond. Is it, I need to know whether which level I should attend to the class? Is it?
Well, if you want to get an understanding about your English proficiency level, indeed you can come and attend the General English entrance test. I think the cost is around 200 Hong Kong dollars, and we will have people to have a direct conversation with you and also give you some test material. So you will complete them, and we will give you.
I have no idea which kind of lessons I can attend. So can you just recommend the lingo skills that why I would like to visit after finish this lingo skill taxes? I should know which level I attend to class.
If you take the lingual skill, of course you will know.
I will know.
You will know. But actually, lingual skills serve, for me, I will say that it serves a few purposes. First of all, lingual skills will give you a report, so you can show your proficiency to your employer or even to the universities or your teachers. So it's a proof. The other thing is, if you want to have CEF reimbursement, you need a lingual skill report after you complete the course, because that is part of the CEF reimbursement requirement. Yeah. So if you want only the opinions about which level, yeah, just come to us, write us an email, and we will have some basic chit chat and also chatting with you and do some conversation, and we will know your actual requirement, your needs. For example, indeed you might want training in speaking. More speaking, you might want more training on grammar. Then actually we can recommend the correct course for you instead of just taking a general course. And indeed is not something an AI can help you, because to be honest, we are the course provider. We know the course in more details, and we know the trainers. Sorry. So, any questions? So thank you so much, and thank you for coming, and I wish you enjoy the talk, and I hope I see you next time. Thank you.